Hello.
Hi. Hello. Well, just a few seconds for people to join on. We're about 15 seconds early, not too much, but it's interesting. We had a family wedding this weekend, and we were talking all about generational stages and where we are, because we have multiple generations at a wedding. And my nephew was telling me how he's starting this new job and how he's trying to recruit boomers like me. Thanks, buddy, but I'm not a boomer. So it just kicked off this whole conversation about these different generations. And it's, you and I talked, it's no coincidence that you and I are doing this talk on the different generations and how to target. Specifically, we're going to dive into, because we have 10 minutes, millennials and Gen Z. But
that's very on theme for this
week. It was
week.
very on theme
so
for the
funny.
week. It was kind of interesting. And my mother-in-law, she's like, well, I'm a boomer. And I'm like, I don't think you're a boomer. So she had to look it up. And she is not a boomer. Very close. She's very, very close. But yeah, it was really interesting.
You're right,
to just have the conversation everywhere from my in-laws all the way down to my nieces and nephews.
Right, and that's like Generation X. Is that what it is, or what is it?
For
the young kids.
That was actually going to be my pop quiz. Can anybody name the young generation, like those that have been born since 2013? So if you can, put it in the comments. We'll tell you at the end. But if you can name that the youngest generation, it is not Gen X. I am a Gen X.
Okay.
And so.
I have no idea.
Yeah. So that's our pop quiz for today. So anyway, we're going to jump in. We're going to talk today just about the differences in marketing and how you can better understand if you're marketing to millennials or if you're marketing to the Gen Z generations, kind of what their nuances are and the best ways to message to them. And so I'm going to start out. Millennials right now are currently aged 29 to 44. So if that is like your sweet spot, the group that you're really trying to communicate and connect with, a few of their values and attitudes are really important to know. And one of those is they're very optimistic. They're very, very purpose-driven, and they rely on trust, which is why influencers work really, really well for this age demographic. But they also care a lot about the environment and equity. Like, they want transparency in everything that they're doing.
Yeah, and I'm going to be talking about Gen Z, and those are the ages from 28 to 13. So that's personally me, and they're a little more skeptical, maybe social conscious might be the right term. They question everything. They have like a good meaning behind it, though. They want to make sure what they're buying and what they spend their time in has kind of a good structure behind it, whether that's like climate change, mental health, just a good cause. Yeah.
Interesting, isn't it? There's not that much difference, but there's so much difference.
Right, exactly.
Yeah. So looking at digital behaviors, no shock that millennials are a little bit more of the traditionalist as it relates to social media. So think Facebook, think Instagram. They love their Pinterest, and they're still pretty heavy users of Twitter. But they really want that polished storytelling. They want curated content that's meaningful and well-produced, that gives them an emotional experience that goes along with it.
Right, yeah. And then on my side, we're definitely more TikTok, and I feel like we've really seen that app rise over the past couple of years. It's huge.
100%.
And then just Snapchat, YouTube, and also Instagram, like the millennials. I feel like Instagram is kind of for everyone now. But then they kind of like the raw and real, funny content. They like things that they can relate to, something that's also from life, a break, so they can go to their phone and have a laugh, and something that they can just kind of say, hey, I have that in common with someone else across the world. I think they really like that aspect of it too.
Yeah. Again, like
it's so similar.
So polished, and yet no, we want raw and real.
Yeah.
But both want authenticity.
Yeah, right. Just in different ways.
Yeah, absolutely. So when you think about curating the message and how you're going to communicate that, and you're developing your marketing plans, know that for millennials, we really need to emphasize those experiences. Like, they really want to feel like they're invited to be a part of the brand. They still, email marketing works really well yet for this generation. They love their loyalty programs. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Don't forget to include a loyalty program or some sort of give back or some sort of rewards offer. And they care about the ethics. I mean, they really
Mhm.
want that ethical piece of the brands that they trust and they follow. And so one example of that is Chipotle has done a
Mhm.
really good job of marketing to this group. And millennials are really known for questioning. They want transparency. They want to understand. They don't want to take things at face value. And Chipotle has done that by messaging, really focusing on their sourcing of their food and their quality of their ingredients. They focus organic farming, animal cruelty issues. Like they take on all of those in their marketing message. And they relay it with really great storytelling and high impact imagery that's really well produced.
Definitely. I instantly the Chipotle commercials come to mind, and they're so well like
Mhm.
filmed and everything. So, but on the other hand, the Gen Zs really like short form videos, so that's why TikTok is on the rise. Instagram Reels, even Instagram Stories, I feel like can be really
Mhm.
popular as well. Um, and then creator partnerships, like you said, influencers are a huge thing right now, and either if they're macro or micro, both have a great impact. And it's just kind of what do you want to see for your brand and how you want to target that audience. So let's say Aerie has a great campaign called Aerie Real. They use a
Oh yeah.
lot of influencers to target all body shapes, all body sizes, just so inclusive. And that's something the Gen Z kids really like to see. So also interactive content like polls. They want to have a voice, and I feel like that just is so valid, and that really explains this generation too. So Spotify Wrapped is a good example of that because it's personalized to them, and every year they like to see kind of what they were listening to, and I think it's a great look back on the year. And I think Spotify was kind of genius for that
Yeah.
personalization aspect on their
That's
app.
interesting because I
Mhm.
could care less about Spotify Wrapped.
I love to
It is
see
not
it.
targeted towards me, that is for sure. So when you think about like messaging differences and how you can curate all of this, bring this information together, make sure that you're targeting millennials that professional but relatable, that you really focus on high quality images, you have transparency in where you're getting the products or how things are being produced and how you're relating that in ethical standards and sustainability standards. And they really want trust. They want to build trust. And if you can build trust with this generation, they are going to be a loyal brand supporter forever. Like you would
Mhm.
really have to work hard to break their trust once it has been earned and gained.
Yeah, definitely. And then on the Gen Z side, casual and witty. What comes to mind when I'm talking about that is day in the lives or behind the scenes content. They love to see it. Kind of just, it's relatable, like I said
Hmm.
earlier. And just their call to action would be make a statement, join the movement. Like I said, they want to be a part of something. They want to
Absolutely.
know that their money and what they're soaking in from social media is actually worth the while.
Yeah.
So definitely just embracing what they're putting in for themselves.
Yeah. So to summarize really quickly, we're going to give a quick takeaway. If you have questions, please post them in the comments. If we have time, we'll answer them live yet today. If we don't have time, we're going to follow up and
Hmm.
add some, reply as we can within the comments. But also, um, I tell you, Darby's done a great job. I almost called you Taylor. Darby, I was a Taylor last week. Darby's done a great job of taking all of this research and curating it into some additional resources. So there's going to be a blog posted to our
Hmm.
website with additional details on this, as well as some great. We're going to take date, all this data
Hmm.
and form it into some graphics that will be available on our social media. So we'll link to that in the comments as well. But so the big takeaway for millennials, if you really think about it, is authenticity. They want a really good curated story that's well developed and presented in a professional manner. But overall, they really want to feel like they're a part of the story. And when they're supporting your brand, they're supporting a larger cause. And so an example of that is Tom's shoes, and they're one for one. Where when you buy a pair of shoes from Tom's, a pair of shoes gets donated. And Tom's has done a really great brand of not only talking about where they're sourcing and how they're building their products and how they're sustainable and they're caring about the environment, but also that give back, that invites their audiences to be a part of this social movement that they're curating and they're creating by selling and purchasing their products.
Yeah, and Gen Z, kind of like we said, it's so similar yet so different. They want diversity, inclusion, and just to make sure that there's transparency and humor along with those really good meaning things. So a good example of this would be the Levi's campaign that is buy better, wear longer, because it is so sustainable and it's something that they know they can spend their money on, but it's also good for the environment, it's good for them as well. So just making sure you think of those things when you're trying to target your certain audience, whether that's millennials or Gen Z.
All right, I'm trying to figure out how to pull the tabs up here, and I can't read the screen from where I'm at. This one? I think so. All right, we'll see if there's any questions. We did have one guess. We have to wrap up. What is the youngest? It is not Gen Y.
Oh.
That is one of the guesses. So this youngest current generation, so my grandbaby's generation, those that have been born since 2013, if you've got an idea of what it is, post it in the comments. But we will tell you, it is Alpha. It is Generation Alpha.
I knew as soon as I was going to hear it, I would be like, duh.
Yeah.
Bump on the head.
That is the next up and coming generation. It's going to be really curious to see how things that are happening in the world today form their views and their perspectives on life.
Definitely.
Yeah. Thanks for joining us. We hope you got a little something to take away out of this. And there again, we're going to pull all this because this is a content. This is like a lot of information in a short amount of time. So we're going to pull this all together. Darby's already written the blog, and we're going to have some more information out like that. And so there'll be some great graphics in our social medias to follow up with some of these statistics. So thanks for joining us. Have a great day.